Welcome to the Broker Podcast with Jack Stapleton, founder, co-owner, and broker of Realty Texas, one of America's most respected independent real estate firms. Early in his career, Jack was named Realtor of the Year, top producer, and helped over 1,000 families buy and sell properties. Later turned industry leader and broker, Jack founded Realty Texas and built it into an empire with over 400 agents, tens of thousands of transactions closed, with billions in production. As former board president, NLS chairman, real estate instructor, software engineer, and technology innovator, Jack knows what it takes to succeed at every level. Everyone thinks they know real estate. Few actually do. This is real leadership and proven results. Welcome to the Broker Podcast.
Welcome to the Broker Podcast. With me today is a very special guest, Mr. Dennis Maldonado with Perry Homes.
Perry Homes, yeah.
So I hear you're no stranger to the microphone. Looks like in the past I see that you were a co-host on a weekly radio show. Is that true?
Oh, in San Antonio.
Yeah.
The Orange. Yes, that is true. I forgot about that. It's been a while.
Talk to me about that.
Wait a minute. Well, I was in the high-end audio video business, and obviously new technology comes out, and so we educated the public. This is the time when the 4K flat screens were coming out. They were $30,000.
I was gonna say $15,000 for this.
Yeah. And so, I have the adage, you don't know what you don't know.
I say that often.
Yes, just because they're flat doesn't mean you get quality. You would get blurring, and we also advise Time Warner on adapting the 4K, the HD TV format and whatnot. So yeah, it was fun times.
It's cool.
I had forgotten all about that.
And in San Antonio, I hear that you may or may not have been part of PT50.
I was.
It's a very cool organization. Lisa and I, co-owners here at the company, we also have been pretty invested in the PT50 group, which I guess helped you develop some relationships inside the brokerage.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, because again, we worked with builders, we worked with realtors. People would come in from out of town. They wanted things done electronically in their house. At the time, lighting control, all these different things were coming out. Electric window shades were more common. And so we wanted to be able to help and offer solutions. So yeah.
That's very cool. I know I've just recently had a couple of clients looking for low voltage stuff, and I was struggling to find someone. So even today, that need is out there.
It is, yes.
So you started with Perry Homes in 2018.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going on years 8?
Eighth year.
8th year?
They call me the OG.
Okay.
I had to ask what that was.
Well, share with the watchers.
I'm one of the most tenured people in the Austin, and I'm starting in San Antonio, obviously. Yeah, I have a lot of newer sales professionals come to me with it for advice, how to do things in our systems and things of that nature. So I learned a long time ago, when you help people, it all works out.
Real estate
people
is a relationship business. It's all about people.
Yes, it is.
Something I've always said is it's an honor to help someone get a roof over their head.
It is. And one of the best things in the world is watching them get a key to a new home.
Yeah.
It's not a house, it's a home.
To home.
Where they're going to have
not a house until we help them start selling it. Then it's a house.
I think a house. Let's screw up the loop.
Yeah.
But, this is where they're going to have birthday parties and anniversaries and holidays and, all the things that give, especially children, the memories that they'll share with their children down the road, right? A home is an emotion.
I always think, if you want to define home, think of yourself at 8 years old.
Yes.
And you will immediately be reconnected to that idea of home.
Very true.
So I've got a bunch of questions for you here, but I'm going to start with the most broad question and then kind of get more specific. But I think this is, a fun question to ask. what's something that you've been able to accomplish with clients that you were working with that really made you proud?
When you help a young couple into a new home and then they have children. I've had many a child call me Mr. Perry, even though I'm not Mr. Perry.
Yeah.
But they associate me with Perry Homes, which I should be because I represent them. But that is the most rewarding of things. When you go visit them, because I do visit my buyers, and the children want me to go into their rooms. They want to show me the colors they chose, the bedding they have. That, you know what? You can't buy that.
I have an almost identical story. I've been in real estate now. This is my 21st year.
Uh-huh.
My first clients, Colin and Amanda Jurin, their son Jack, which I swear they named him after
you.
Telling you they did. He hadn't been born yet. And now he is a senior in high school, about to graduate. And I've helped them buy and sell homes over the years. And even their daughter Amanda is about to graduate with her degree from UT, which was really cool. And, when I look and I visit my clients and I knock on their door, their kids call me Uncle Jack.
I love that.
And you feel like you're part of the family.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting thing that's not something that is standard across these different professions. It's something very specific in helping someone find home, and how there's just this relationship that's created that's really unique. It's very special. It's really rewarding. And it's one of the reasons why I love this profession so much, because of the people and the place that we hold in our hearts for them and them for us. And maybe 5 years have gone by and you really haven't seen them, but you've spoken to them several times on the phone. It's like you were right back in that moment where you handed the key.
Yes. It's a forever connection.
So on the flip side of that, what was something that was a huge obstacle that you had to overcome, maybe a reoccurring one, in your role as an on-site?
Well, excuse me, construction is not a perfect science.
It's really messy.
Yes, it is very messy. And every company has the way they do things. For example, when I first started with Perry, we had a house that was almost finished. And I remember going up to it to check it out to make sure everything was good. And I didn't see an address block on the house, but it was bricked. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, they forgot the address block. How could that happen? So I waltzed into the construction office and said, hey guys, the address block, what's going on? And they said, we know you're new with us, but we cut that in later. Right? So I learned a lesson. But the answer to your question is, I did have a home one time, because it is a bunch of moving parts, different trades. There were two homes side by side. The first two numbers at the address were the same. The second home had a piece of wood over the address block. So they put the wrong tile in the wrong house. And the buyers came in and were just flabbergasted. And it's like, I just had to reassure them. I said, you know what, something's happened, but we're going to take care of it. We want you to be happy. We're going to take care of it. So it was taken care of, but that was one thing I'll never forget. The reaction.
Yeah.
Because again, it's very important to them.
It's very exciting for them. They're building a home and putting it together, and they have these huge expectations that it's going to be perfect, and it's not. And you're going to have substitutions sometimes because materials won't be available.
Sure.
You
learned that in COVID.
You learned that in COVID, right? When we didn't have availability of trades, we didn't have availability of, major mechanicals. And then you add on top of that, floods and rain and tornadoes and all of the crazy things that happen in inclement weather and casualty loss. I've seen entire neighborhoods have, torn to rubble from, Gerald and those areas with tornadoes. You have to prepare for the worst, expect the best, and somewhere in the middle it's going to come true.
Right.
But I guess for you especially, and you're building a home and it's a dream that they have, that you just have to communicate the realities of what's going on, set the right expectations,
yes.
And when it doesn't go right, own it.
Yes. Communication is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an imperfect science, but again, working together, it's an incredible experience.
Over the last 8 years, you've seen some significant market swings.
Yes.
I go back to the 2003 and then the 2005, 8, 10, 15, and 20 markets because those are the years where we had some market shifts. But 2020, the beginning of COVID, we saw everyone kind of step into this return to home for work kind of thing, which we've never seen before.
Right.
And a lot of people were occupying 2 homes.
Yes.
They wanted to sell their home, but they wanted to put the new one under contract. We didn't have the trades to get it done. Some of these builds were taking longer than expected.
12, 13 months.
Yep. And out of nowhere, we saw probably one of the strongest sellers markets in the history of the country. And the builders, rightfully so, pulled back on incentives. And then we saw the flip happen coming into 2023 and 2024 when the Feds made the decision to drastically overnight increase interest rates.
Yes.
Throwing some water on the fire to cool down the housing market. It worked.
Very well.
Things slowed down. And the builders now returned to offering some concessions.
Yes.
And incentives. What do you see coming into 2026 with incentives?
That's a real good question because the expectation from the general public is that prices will continue to drop and more incentives in place. But what I believe is going to happen is the opposite, and the opposite in a drastic way. It's true that the market has cooled in the Austin area, cooled in Texas overall. However, a lot of builders are under pressure now to not build inventory homes.
That's right.
And so what I found was in a meeting recently is that the forecasted starts of new homes for the first quarter of next year are significantly down.
Yeah.
So what that means is come the summertime, and a lot of people like to move because they don't want to move you don't want to move your child in the middle of the school year, right? Summertime is the best time. So there may be a very severe lack of homes, therefore the prices go up. And interest rates are starting to tick down a little bit.
Just yesterday, quarter point.
Just yesterday, yes. And so that has people now coming out and inquiring more. So there's no time like the present, right? There's no time like the present. You can always refinance your house. However, if you wait, you may be waiting 10, 12 years and you're renting and you're just throwing your money out the window and you're not having the same experience because you know that your family in an apartment is not going to have the same experience as your family in a home.
That's right.
It's a totally different experience. So we anticipate prices going up because availability is down. Now, the other thing you have to understand is that the neighborhoods that we're selling in now, providing homes now, those neighborhoods were developed or thought of being developed 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Right.
So now with the adjustment in the market, a lot of developers have not gone forward with projects. So there'll be less neighborhoods. And so there'll be
less starts
again. So yeah, that's what you're going to see, I believe.
Historically, people who wanted to wait for an affordability to happen waited to pay more.
Mm-hmm.
When the prices go down, usually the rates go up.
Yes.
And when the rates go up, they put downward pressure on home prices. Correct. And so there's never, hopefully, going to be a situation where the rates are low and the prices are going down. That's going to be a 1930s cataclysmic event. Right. So you mentioned something a moment ago that I have been reiterating to my buyer clients and training here at the company to our agents that when the rates are a little bit higher than 6%, 6.5% where we're at right now is not historically a high rate.
My first home?
18%?
Mine was 12.
Yeah.
It's still.
Mine was 8.5 on the first and 10 on the second, but that was 1990. So when the downward pressure on those home value or on the home values because high interest rates, if they're waiting for the rates to come down, the prices are going to go up.
They will, and they'll go up overnight.
So it'll fill up that space. It'll fill up that space. So I always tell people that with the rates higher now, it's putting downward pressure on the home prices, which allows the buyer to be able to purchase a home at a lower price,
Significantly lower.
get some closing costs paid, maybe get some incentives that would not have otherwise been available to you, and then buy it at that price, which is locked in. And later when the rates go down, you can refinance it, and now you have the best of both worlds.
All right. Date the rate.
But if you're waiting for the rates to come down, then you're going to buy it at the higher price, and you can never refinance your purchase price, right? You're stuck with that purchase price and paying down the loan amount.
That is true. I've had buyers who put it off, end up buying the house later. Rate was 3/4 of a point more.
Yeah.
Same house, not the same address, same floor plan. But, and I told them, I said, it's smart to do it now. And sometimes they don't listen.
Well, you're looking at affordability today.
Well, excuse me.
I think that giving the buyer the advice that purchase now, because how late in retirement do you want to continue paying a house payment? The sooner you buy it, the sooner you pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
And when you buy a property at a lower price with a higher interest rate, if it's owner-occupant, which is, I'm guessing, a lot of what you sell is,
Yes,
then there's a significant tax advantage
there is.
in writing off the interest
And your taxes.
and the property taxes as well. So when we talk about affordability, they need to look at the advantages, not just the price and not just the rate, because looking at the future, affordability and inventory go hand in hand.
Correct.
And there have been a massive amount of apartments put on the ground.
Very much so. I can't believe the amount of apartments that are put on the ground. Every time I turn around, you see, those have come to a halt too.
Yeah.
Because of, there's a lot of them.
And they're sitting with a 50% occupancy rate.
Occupancy.
So they're offering huge incentives, 300% commission
Mm-hmm.
for a real estate agent to bring a buyer. If we, as a real estate agent, we're helping a tenant, we're lucky to be compensated 35% of the first month's rent. But the apartments are paying 300% of the first month's rent.
Yeah, it tells you something.
So not only are they throwing incentives at us, but they're also giving buyers 2 months free, paying for utilities. So obviously that that's gonna pull in a lot of new people coming into town who decide they're going to want to rent for a year and just see what's going on. But from the builder side, you're dealing with a different caliber of buyer.
We are. What's interesting about Austin is our first-time home buyer is buying a much more expensive home than they used to.
Well, and you're a quality builder, so you're not a production builder.
Correct. We technically are, but if you walk into a Perry home and say, I had this built for me custom, especially in our larger product, or we don't have what we call estate, but I call it the estate product because they're 4,000, 5,000 square foot homes. If you told somebody I had this custom built, they would believe you. Yeah. We're known for our finishes, our tall ceilings and big windows. Mr. Perry was an innovator. He had a vision. He wanted certain things and he couldn't find a builder to build it. So he built his own house. And today we're one of the largest builders in Texas for sure. And we expanded to Florida last year as well.
Yeah. So going into 2026, what is the biggest advice that you would give a home buyer?
To get a home. To
not wait.
Here's what happens. So, and again, we're going back a while. It was 12% interest. The house was $70,000 and it was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And that house today is over $1 million. Same house.
Yeah.
Right. When you purchase anything, a new car, if you finance anything, it's sticker shock in the beginning. You're scared, and you should be scared. I tell my clients, you should be excited and you should be scared at the same time. If you're there, I'm comfortable. But over time, that payment became less and less and less of a situation.
Sure.
I would love to have a $700 house payment today.
Yeah.
So over time, you make more money. Over time, everything goes up. And so it becomes less of a sting.
Yep.
Right? So if you don't do it, you'll always pay more in the end.
Well, and you choose your pain. When you don't buy and you rent, you're paying off the landlord's mortgage and you're enriching them. You don't have a tax write-off and your rent is going up every month.
Yeah.
Or every year.
Yeah.
So
there's also other inconveniences of parking and noise and all these things. Moving. Yeah, something will get damaged in the move. It's a guarantee.
You work with a lot of real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that there's two kind of philosophies with home builders and how they look at a real estate agent. One philosophy is they're a nuisance, and one philosophy is they're an extended sales force. I teach a class called New Home Construction. It's a National Association of Realtors designation course.
It is.
And it's only a one-day class. It's 8 hours. But it gives real estate agents some new competency in working with home builders, especially the on-site. And some of the things I teach is the on-site's the expert. They're the ones that know that community. They know the tax rates. They know the building style. And when we bring a buyer in the front door, we should introduce the buyer to the on-site and take a step back and let the on-site do their job, right? Don't set the expectation that the buyer's going to be able to get big discounts on price. Because if you set that expectation before you even go to the property, you're setting the wrong expectation. Because your value is not negotiating the price. The value of the real estate agent is something completely different. Finding the communities in the first place, knowing what type of property is located in what type of communities,
right.
And then helping them through the buying process and helping with the emotional swings that are going to come through the process of a home that's not yet completed, or helping them with an inventory item and help explaining the process.
We have something in common, and it's a client.
Yeah.
Right? We want to take care. I tell people, I said, I work for you as much as I work for Perry, because my job is to help you. Right? My job is to assist you in finding a new home. I always recommend a realtor. Real estate agent is a must because, again, we have a lot of people coming in from out of state. Some people think that they have to pay for it, and that is something that scares some people, but you educate them and said, no, we, the builder, take care of that. But you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't. Perfect example. I moved to Durango, Colorado from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Built a house. The electrical panel was small in the house in Durango. And I was like, what is this? Do I have to pay to upgrade it? And they said, I've been told this a couple times, Molly, you're not from here. So the issue is in Colorado, you don't have air conditioning. In Florida, you do. So you have to have a large electric panel. So again, you don't know what you don't know. So that's the key.
You know, we have a very different view of compensation. We get a buyer representation agreement signed with our buyer. And then we get hired by the buyer to represent them and to assist them. And the buyer, from the onset conversation that we have and the 400 agents that work here and the required conversation they are to have with the buyer when they bind the firm to the buyer broker agreement, is that the buyer pays the commission. And then we are going to seek reimbursement from the home seller, the home builder, and hopefully they will be amicable in reimbursing some or all of it. But in the event that they're not, then we'll negotiate it in.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever's not paid, that they'll pay the difference. Then they understand what that means.
That's why you're successful.
People are willing to pay for three things. Well, four. First, if you're going to elevate their status. Second, you're going to save them time. 3, you're going to help save them risk reduction.
Right.
And then 4, you're going to help make them money. And as a real estate agent, our job is to lower their risk, help them realize as much profit as they can from the overall home buying process, from beginning to end.
And yes.
And it's the end where you realize that money, not at the beginning.
Right.
In 20, let's just say they hold that home for 10 years. The end of that 10 years, and they sell the property, that's when they're going to take that equity out. And that's when the equity is realized. And it's very important to realize what people, if you buy this $300,000 home today, $500,000 home today, and you sell it for $800,000 in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you're not going to be upset in 5 years from now.
Not at all.
That you purchased the home for $505 instead of $500. And so the reality is you got to find someplace you're going to love.
First thing.
Second, negotiate a fair deal and our idea of a fair deal is somewhere around appraisal. And have people that are going to make sure that by the time those keys are not put in your hand, that you haven't been so disenfranchised from the process that you don't even want to buy the home anymore.
No, that's not one that you don't want that at all.
That happens sometimes.
Yes, it does.
So how do you address a situation that is one of those scenarios?
Well, first of all, you have to have communication, understand why they don't feel the way they should, right? That's the first thing. And then you peel back the onion. But it's communication along the whole way. So you don't get to that point, right? You want to start early. You want good communication with construction, good communication. If you have that, then you don't have the end result where somebody doesn't want a set of keys in their home. They're excited. So really, the way to address it is in the beginning.
That's exactly right. Be the professional, own it, and just be very open and honest and communicate, and be the one who always lowers the temperature in the room.
Correct.
You know, imagine that sometimes agents might bring in a client and set the wrong expectations. And from that moment with the expectations, then it's your job to reset those expectations and hopefully not undermine the relationship between the agent and the client, because that doesn't help you.
Correct.
But you have to be the bearer of bad news sometimes, that, no, we're not going to reduce the price by 30%. No, we're not going to, do these things that you can't do. Builder deserves to make a profit on the sale of their home.
I tell people, you want us to be a business, right? Because we have a 2-year warranty, not a 1-year warranty. You want us to take care of things. You want us to be able to take care of things.
Yeah.
We keep talking about relationship, and that's something that's super important for you and for me, for the clients. Your firm does this. There's a lot of firms that don't. They don't have that communication. They show up at the end.
Yeah.
Right? They never took a family around. They just show up at the end at the closing table.
Where's my check?
Exactly. And that's not what you want. You want relationships. Because you're going to buy another home down the road, or you're going to have a friend or a relative, and you want them to be treated as well as you're treated.
Yeah.
And if you're not treated well, you don't want them to be treated. So yes, that's really key. That's key in this business.
So you are in 2 pretty substantial neighborhoods with Perry Homes. Talk to me about your neighborhoods, what your incentives are, what gets you fired up about your neighborhoods.
I'm in the best neighborhood in Austin. Santa Rita Ranch. So there's Santa Rita Ranch and there's ElDorado at Santa Rita Ranch. So it's all part of Santa Rita Ranch. These are different, what they call villages.
It's gorgeous.
Right? It is gorgeous. So the key thing about that community is, other than the fact that there's a new Costco, the largest Target in the world, and a bunch of other things that are popping up, new Home Depot, the whole 9 yards. It's now the new center of the universe. The key thing about that community is it is a true community.
It's like it's self-contained little thing. You don't even need to leave.
Yes.
It's everything.
And the amenities are outstanding. 4 years in a row, it's been the number 1 community voted on in Austin. It's up for a national award this year. But the developers care. They were builders, right? The roads are wide. There's space. It never feels congested. And then everything's coming to it. It's a brand new, Walmart has not built a store in the U.S. since 2019. We'll have to build one there with a distribution center because everything's going farther out.
So talk to me about schools.
Schools are great. All schools in Texas are struggling right now.
Yeah.
The growth. So you need more schools. But it's interesting with the school thing is the school starts and then usually the rating is not so good because you have to have money to be able to buy, get the teachers in there and whatnot. So the schools are struggling. Santa Rita schools are very good though. We have gone to a 4-day school week, which, because some of the school districts in Santa Rita is actually the least, have some budget constraints right now. But the schools are very, very good. There was a time when I went to school for 4 days a week and it actually forced me to be more efficient.
Yeah.
I learned from it.
Well, I think the facilities are gorgeous.
Facilities are gorgeous.
A lot of the teachers I personally know love their craft. Good schools.
Yeah, it's very good schools.
So talk to me about the amenities. Because
Oh my God.
that's what separates it from the pack.
There's amenities. And you have a calendar that comes out at the beginning of every month, and there's activity after activity after activity after activity.
What are some of the activities?
Oh, they just had a big Santa Claus. He showed up, and, the kids. The pools are amazing. 4th of July, people get in the golf carts and do a parade.
Because there's a whole golf course.
Yeah, you have to have a golf cart. They just constantly are doing things. They have a pavilion where they have concerts. The community and the HOA are phenomenal. Yeah, most of the time people don't like HOAs, but that HOA is very responsive.
For the last 10 years, I've been a HOA president for my HOA, and 10 years before that, when I bought a new home recently, about 2018, I bought a new home. Prior to that, I was 15 years of a HOA president for my last HOA. So I'm on almost 20 years of being president of my HOA. And that I really want people to walk away understanding about the HOA is that they are the HOA.
Yeah, they are.
It's not this bad them. It's they are the HOA. And so if they don't want, or they want to change something, then they need to get involved in their HOA.
One of the things that Santa Rita is unique is Santa Rita is a large community, and we have a lot of common spaces, or common areas. And so our common areas are watered with well water, not city water. Most of your communities are watered with city water. That's one of the reasons why HOA fees are so high.
Yeah.
And so little things like that are thought out ahead of time.
So 2026, we see fewer starts. We see maybe some movement on rates, which we expect prices to go up.
Yes.
And in that, I'm guessing we're going to see the pendulum swing back a little bit on incentives. One last thing I want to talk about is one of the advantages I've seen with some builders that some of them offer an interest rate incentive.
Yes.
When working with their in-house lender.
Correct.
I know some agents, when they show up at the door, they've already got their client pre-approved with their lender that they tend to like to work with.
Sure.
And some of them kind of have this visual response. What do you mean that your incentives are tied to your lender? I've always looked at this in a different way. How cool is it that the builder is going to have a relationship with the lender where they can offer the buyer additional incentives?
Yes.
By using that lender and looking at it that way, because using that lender opens up a pool of additional revenue that you can incentivize a buyer in purchasing a home.
Right.
And that means that the builder is either choosing not to make a profit on the lending side or not on the build side, but one of those is diminished income for the builder to offer that incentive.
Right.
And the real estate agent's lender is not going to have the capacity to offer that same incentive because they want to be compensated for their time.
Right.
So there is huge advantage in using a builder's lender. Let's talk about that and the incentives that are out there.
So yes, there's either a reduced rate or a 2-to-1 buy down with the reduced rate. The question is, how long are you going to be in your home? And what do you think interest rates are going to do? Because if a builder offers you a 4.99 rate, which is pretty common right now, but interest rates they go and they come down maybe a quarter, another half, and we're at 5.5. Is that really worth, or would you rather have that money for closing costs? Or is it really worth that incentive to you? And again, that depends on how long you stay in the house.
That's huge. I mean, this difference in interest rate might be $180 a month, but the builder might have given them $20,000 in incentives.
Right. They could have gotten an appliance package, window treatments, because you have to have window treatments as soon as you move in the house.
You can't be without blinds or windows.
You can also, and I do this, you can reduce your own interest rate.
Yeah.
You have to have the money to do it, right? But I send additional principal every month on my mortgage. So that money is not being used for the whole time. So there's what I call the interest rate and the imputed interest rate.
Yeah.
If you were to just send extra directly to the principal every month, $200-$300, whatever it may be, depending on the price of the house, and you have just reduced your own interest rate.
And if you just take your mortgage and divide it by 2, and every 2 weeks send that half amount, you make 13 payments.
Yes.
And that 13th payment will reduce your 30-year mortgage by 5 years.
Yes.
Huge.
Time value of the dollar.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to, pay off the home early, make principal only payments like we're talking about, that's going to reduce the carrying cost of your home.
We're not taught that stuff.
Yeah.
We should be. But the average person doesn't think of that.
Part of the value in working with a real estate agent, hopefully getting advice them and getting them with a lender who's going to, help throw some scenarios at them that lets them know that there's an advantage of being able to write off the interest, write off the property taxes, make a 13th payment, throw a couple extra $1,000 to do a buy down rate 2-1. How long you be in this home? 5 years. Let's not worry about what's going to happen on year 5 to 30 when you're only going to be in there 5 years anyway.
And most people are. First house, I find that to be the average.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
3 to 5?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're seeing too.
Yeah.
One of the things I like to talk to my agents about is in a 5-year period, most people are going to buy or sell in that time.
Mm-hmm.
So that means every individual year, there's a 20% chance that person's going to transact that year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a 100% chance that person's going to give you a referral.
100%.
So we don't look at that person as a transaction.
No.
And we don't want to try to even look at them to transact. It's who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or lease a home?
Yes.
Because that's where your business comes from.
Correct.
90% of our business comes from people who have not yet transacted with us, giving us their family and friends.
This is how you grow the business. And again, it's helping people. It's establishing those relationships, right? One thing that I do is very unique. I do a lot of builds as opposed to inventory homes.
Yeah.
And the reason is...
That's not something we have a lot of competency with. Most of our agents have gone to a builder and found a builder that has an inventory item that is already on its way or already finished and the selections have been chosen. So I want to hear a lot about this.
Well, a build will cost you more money because you go to the grocery store and you haven't had lunch, right? You got to go to the design center.
Okay.
I tell people, you're going to go to the design center and some people want a pot filler and some people don't. Right. But you have to know. So what I do with folks is, and I learned this because I built a house once in San Antonio when I first moved to Texas. And at the time, 2002, houses were a lot cheaper. So this was a $320,000 house, which back then still was.
That's a nice house in 2002.
But I was like, how much is it going to cost at the design center? And they told me a number. Well, it turned out to be $18,000 more than that. Because I like what I like. People want what they want, right? They want to make the home theirs. So I didn't have the money. So I had to borrow it. But that was an event that I remember for the rest of my life. I do believe that's what turned my hair white. So what I do with folks when they come in, and it takes time, and it takes intent, is we're going to build the house. Now, I'm not the design center, and I'm not going to pick the colors, but do you want wood floors? Do you want tile floors? Now you have this Rev Wood, which is this fantastic luxury plank vinyl that looks like wood. One thing important about that is if you leave your home for a specific time, like 30 days, you must leave your air conditioner on for wood.
Yeah.
I found that out the hard way because I said, you know what? I'm not going to be home. I went to Puerto Rico. I went to Puerto Rico to visit my parents. And I shut everything down. I came back, and 6 months later, things started to warp.
Yeah. Even cabinet doors.
So these are little things that again, you don't know what you don't know. But I will sit down and build the house with you. We're not picking colors, but okay, do you want the upper cabinets?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want wood floors? So in the model, you have this countertop. Is this what you want, or do you want a granite? So I do a spreadsheet and give you a number. I throw in a little extra figure out there, a little extra money for miscellaneous, because sometimes in the guest room, you want to take the tile to the ceiling in the shower, right? A couple, $300. But I want you to be comfortable because I had a bad experience and I remember that experience. And for some people, they're forced at the design center now to cut back.
Yeah.
Because now they're way over budget.
That's right.
And that's not what you want. So I do that, and I'm very successful at the building a home for somebody versus them buying an inventory.
I'm guessing part of the most important thing that you help them with are the things that they can't change later.
Correct.
Like a third car garage.
Anything
walk-in shower or a extended patio, those things that's going to change the roof line or change the foundation, those are things that if they're going to want them, they need it now.
They do.
Maybe not get the hardwood floors in the primary bedroom and get the third car garage, and then later add that as a...
You can change.
After
There are certain things you can change, certain things you can't. Yeah, something we do now, because you have so many parents come to visit long-term or living with you, that we always, in our primary guest suite or guest room, we will always put a shower in lieu of a tub, because it's safer.
Yeah.
It's safer.
Having a second, especially you guys have a lot of 2 stories.
Yes, we do.
Because you guys have bigger footprint homes, because you have a lot of larger homes.
Yes, we do.
What is your average square foot?
In my 90-foot section, and I'm almost out of 90-foot lots, and there won't be no more 90-foot, I call the executive section, it's about 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. 5 bedroom, 5.5 bath, 3-4 car garage, a true theater room. So not a small media room, but a big area. But yeah. And then my 70-foot product, and again, that's the average width of lots. You're looking at 4,000 square feet.
So how can someone find you, and how can they find your community?
They can call me at 210-279-9948. It's my cell phone. It's on 24/7. I am that guy. I will answer text 2 o'clock in the morning, I promise. We're Perry Homes. You go to Perry Homes website. You go to my community, Santa Rita Ranch. And in the notes, specify that you'd like to talk to me. You can also email me at Dennis, DENNIS, .Maldonado, MALDONADO, at perryhomes.com. Yeah. I'm always available, so I'm here to help.
Thank you for supporting us.
You're great. I want to say one thing to the audience. I don't know how many realtors in Austin, 11,000, 12,000.
Yeah.
So the reality is there are not that many realtors in Austin, right? And it used to be nothing against Uber, but so many realtors are not realtors. They're not professionals. They're doing this part-time. And I call them an Uber driver, because they take you from house to house to house, right?
Uber driver with a house key.
That's right. But you guys are true professionals, 100% of the time. So,
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's true. You're successful because of it. Again, that relationship.
Knowing what's important, and it's the claim.
Yes, it is.
Dennis, thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
Hope to have you on again.
My first podcast.
But not your first radio show.
No. I should remember. I mean, I literally forgot about that. Yes.
Thanks, everyone. If you have questions for the Broker Podcast, please email manager@realtytexas.com with your question, and we will add it to the next edition of the Broker Podcast. Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Good job.
Thank you. Fun. Yes. Totally forgot about the radio show. They call me Mini Bjorn. Bjorn is very successful. The audio video store at the time was one of the top stores in the country. And one store we were selling $22 million worth of AV equipment.
That's incredible.
And yeah, because it was up in the 90s, early 2000s. And yeah, he didn't drink. He didn't have a tux. So he'd send me on different things. But when he was out of town, he'd say, hey, would you do the radio show for me?
That's cool.
So I did that one time. Little tidbit I'll tell you. We're off, right?
Yeah, we're off.
Okay.
There's a couple lenders in town that have a radio show, and they always have always 3 or 4 times I've had Lisa and I on the show. Lisa, my business partner, Jess, owner of the company. We have a lot of fun being on those radio shows. They're just fun. Got that,
So I had a little thing, Jack. My girlfriend was a hairdresser at the time. She was a hairdresser, and before the radio show, I went and got my haircut, and then went to the radio station. And at the time, Sony had the OLED, the old LED, but it was a 13-inch. It was $2,500 for a 13-inch TV, right? OLED. And there's some. So what's new? I said, look, we have this TV. It's 13 inches, but it's OLED, which is an organic light emitting diode, which means it's alive. But I didn't call it organic. I call it orgasmic light.
There you go.
And everybody's like, I want to see that TV. I want to see that TV.
That's a whole different line of product.
So, yes. So Bjorn calls me over. He says, I said, Jordan, I'm so sorry. He goes, you know what? No, that was the best thing you ever. Everybody's calling the store.
I can imagine.
Everybody's calling the store. So that was one joke. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Anything we can do to help you? I'm
So
do it.
I was telling Andrew, I said, we want to partner with you a whole lot more and sponsor things for you. And we want to engage a whole lot more in 2026. Yeah, like that's what we're one of the sponsors on the second, but before the war more goes.
Mana, say hi to Andrew. We're on the sport and reviewer is long. What's on? Like, what? Jeez. There is a book. I don't think that it's in English, Tommy. Even when I keep reporting it.
It's good.
What's up? What? All right, yeah.
Have some right this way. I was there, sorta, and what speaks? Good too. Shit. Stop kitty.
They're all at us. Lists us.
Stop, guys. Hey. Oh. Step. Mm.